Okay, well, thanks again. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. So again, my name is Justin Finch, and I'm the Senior Water Efficiency Specialist here at Moulton Niguel. Real quick, just a reminder, please silence your phone if you haven't, and if you're like me and you have a work phone, remember to silence that one too. And then also, I've got to do a real quick selfie with all of you guys because I need content for my Instagram. It's just my babies and dogs, so I need some real stuff on there. Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit this morning about water efficiency, but before we get there, it kind of makes sense to talk about our water supplies first. And in South Orange County, we don't have this massive groundwater basin like North Orange County has. So virtually every drop of water that we provide to all of you, we have to purchase at a pretty high price from Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. So, we rely on that imported water. We do have a fair amount of recycled water that we're able to provide to all of you for irrigation. And that is a really good source because it is renewable. It's a sustainable source. And it's, as local as it's going to get for us. And so that's part of our local reliability projects. But with that said, because all of our water does not come from here, it behooves us to use the water as efficiently as we can so we can help you keep your bills low, but also so that we can make sure we have enough water to go around. So some of the simple benefits of water efficiency, again, saving you money because our rates are based on what it costs to provide you water. So, it's a good thing for all of us to make sure to use it wisely. And then just like Devin said this morning, we do want to help reduce irrigation runoff. One thing that people forget to talk about with runoff, yes, there is the damage to the environment, but there's also damage to your property from having runoff. Being an HOA board member myself, I'm very conscious of the runoff that I see in my HOA, and I won't admit to living in Ladera Ranch. None of that runoff was mine from this morning. But when I see it on my asphalt, I'm like taking pictures and sending it to the landscaper. Go check that area out. Because if we can avoid doing a slurry one more year, that's money back in the bank. So think about that. And it's also dry rot damage that you're going to have on your structures from overspray. So there's a lot more benefits to all of us other than just the short-term monetary benefit. And then, of course, there's that delay in investment of infrastructure and storage for us. If we're able to avoid building one more tank to have storage for new development, we want to do that because, again, that's just money that we don't have to charge you on your bills. So I want to talk to you briefly about our top 5 water use efficiency programs. There's a million, and I say 5, but I lied. It's really 6 because recycled water is, of course, a conservation program. So the first one is landscape irrigation survey. All of your water providers, we all offer some type of a service that includes an irrigation survey. Many of us do offer something for residents. So if you are interested in, partnering with us and maybe a newsletter, we're happy to give you content for your HOA. But we can actually come out to the single family homes and do surveys. Many of us offer that service. And or for the homeowner association common areas, we'll come out meet with if you have a landscape committee or a property manager or your landscaper. The landscapers are doing a great job of keeping everything maintained. Sometimes it's helpful to have that third party. When I do landscape surveys, I like the landscaper being there because they know the site like the back of their hand. They've got the irrigation maps, and it's a team effort. We're not here to make anyone look bad. We want to make everyone look good and point out options. Things that I'll be honest are going to make the landscaper some money because there are going to be some improvements potentially, and help the HOA out too because we're going to help you lower your bills with some of these improvements. Some of the requirements depending on your water supplier, the site may have to be over an acre of irrigated area, but visit your local water district over here and they'll let you know if they do have that requirement or if they're able to take smaller sites as well. The other best practice that we really want to push is irrigating to a water budget. Majority of us in South Orange County do have water budgets built into the rates. Others will provide a custom water budget for you for that site. And really the idea behind a water budget is this is using science-based metrics to calculate how much water should be efficiently used at that site. And it's all custom to the site. Size of the area, it may have a standard coefficient for the plant palette. But if you really want to work with us tightly, we'll come up with a more customized palette based on what's actually on site. And really based on the weather. Obviously in the summer, you're going to have a higher budget because it's hot and the days are longer. Right now, fall, maybe, you're thinking, hey, it's still hot, right? Yeah, it is still hot, but the days are shorter. And that's the primary factor in calculating this really long, scary word we call evapotranspiration. And really what that means is weather. When the days are shorter, plants do not grow as much. They don't need as much water. So now is the good time to start dialing down the irrigation. And your water budget will reflect that smaller budget because of it. So if you're able to stay within budget, that's a good thing. And again, come see us at the tables. We're happy to talk more about budgets. And if you are over budget, I will tell you time and time again when I talk to customers, I don't know why I'm over budget. Really, there's two things. Either you're overwatering or you've got a leak. I mean, that's basically it, right? Some of us do have what's called advanced metering infrastructure where we're able to tell you if you have a leak. If your water provider doesn't have that, we're more than happy to stop by. Take a look at the meter with you. I will tell you the meters do not lie. It will tell you if you have a leak, the meter is your friend. It's going to be that tool for you to help make sure that you're managing irrigation efficiently on site. So give us a call. We'll come out and show you how to read the meter as well. One of my favorite programs, and this was one of my favorite projects here, is turf removal. And the idea behind turf removal isn't so much of, oh, the kids have nowhere to play. There were no kids playing on this hill. And in fact, I'm sure the landscapers were not happy mowing that this hill either because they had to push the lawnmower up this steep hill. So this is an example of really, I don't want to say useless, but basically non-functional, unsafe to mow lawn areas. This is really where we want you to prioritize if turf removal is something that you'd like to look into. And the idea behind the program is we want to promote sustainable landscapes. You're able to replace that turf grass with drought tolerant and or native plants. The incentives start at $3 per square foot, depending on where your property is located. It may be 4 or more. So definitely reach out to your water provider, reach out prior to doing any work. We do need to do an inspection on site to measure out the area so we know how much money to give you. So you've got to call us first. You've got to fill out the application. And again, just give us a call if you have questions about that program. One thing I did want to point out about this particular site was not only did they get rid of that lawn that was difficult and, in my opinion, unsafe to mow, that area you can tell had runoff. I mean, look at that slope. So removing it and putting in, I think, a very attractive low water use landscape, they also put in a rainwater retention feature, this rock basin that you can see turning around the corner. And that's a great feature to keep a little bit of that rainwater runoff on site. As far as irrigation system upgrades, really the top 3 I would always recommend looking at is spray to drip. So as you can do this at the same time of your turf removal project. If you want to upgrade the old pop-ups to drip, which is going to be way more efficient. This particular style of drip, I can't say a brand name, but there's lots of other brands that make this particular style, is really the best type of drip to get. It doesn't clog. You put the little staples down to keep it so kids and landscapers aren't tripping over it. And it applies water really evenly throughout the landscape. So huge improvement. And right now the rebate starts at 50 cents a square foot. And that's on top of your rebate for turf removal. And if you are, for example, doing, let's say, turf removal in this area and you have a shrub planter behind, you can convert that entire area to drip. So you would get the rebate for your turf removal section plus drip. And then that shrub area that's converted drip would get you a rebate for that area too. So they can be stacked. If there are areas that you want to keep as grass and you would just want to water them more efficiently, rotating sprinkler nozzles is a really good option. Really the short of it is it's just going to apply water more efficiently. That stream of water, think of it as really big drops. They cut through the air better versus the fan of water where those drops just get caught by the air and you can kind of see it drifting away. That's not good for you. It's not good for the landscape. So rotating nozzle is a really good option. $2 per nozzle. It's a good rebate. And then my favorite water saving device, I will tell you, when I was an intern, this was my project, was weather-based irrigation controllers. I don't want to steal my buddy Tony's thunder, who's going to talk a little about this a little bit more to you guys, but really the short of it is this is going to take a lot of the thinking and a lot of the math in the background out of calculating a schedule. It's just going to do all the adjustments for you automatically. And we have a few vendors in the vendor area that sell these timers. So for sure, go talk to them and see about getting their card and information about these products. But rebates start at $35 per station. And I will tell you, most of you are going to have really high count stations in your properties. So that rebate's going to go a long way and often covers at least half of the cost of the controller. So get some quotes. The fifth conservation program I want to talk to you today about is professional landscape training. These are really good things for both the property managers and the landscapers to go take advantage of. Some of these programs have gone virtual because of COVID. Some of them are starting to go back in person again. But I will tell you, our friends from the California Landscape Contractors Association, they offer the certified water manager program, and they're outside. Go talk to my buddy David and learn about that program. We also have Quell, which is a really good program. We typically offer that in person. Right now, again, it is virtual, but when they're in person, really great workshop. And there's also a combo program we're doing right now where you can get certified for both Quell, the Qualified Water Efficient Landscape certification, and Certified Water Manager at the same time. So they're very similar, compatible content. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to visit us at our booth or go visit CLCA's booth. And I think really the take-home message that I did want to make sure to mention is the training. I want you guys to think of this training as specifically for the landscapers. This is going to help you get more clients because you can say, hey, I've got these certifications, I've got this extra training. That's something you put in your bid package. That makes you more attractive to the homeowners association. I know when my association went out to bid, that was something I was looking for. Have the staff gone out and got trained in this material, so I don't have to train them on our first walkthroughs. So really think about that. Finally, recycled water, again, this offsets potable water consumption. Every irrigation meter that we can convert to recycled, that's potable water we can save for our homes and businesses. So huge benefit. Definitely, we want to make sure to irrigate to a budget. Again, regardless of it being recycled water or potable water, water's water, we need to save it. So, if that meter does have a water budget on it, and if not, contact your water provider and we can help you put together a budget. And again, it is a drought resilient supply. So regardless of what we're being told from our wholesaler, right now we're being told, and it is a truth, our water supply is secure. But when we do have a drought, we are going to be communicating to everyone regardless of what we need to do. But having that drought resilient supply is definitely helpful for us. Do want to speak real quick to opportunities to outreach, partner, and pilot. Like I said, come talk to us. We always have something fun that we're wanting to do a pilot program with some of you. Our goal really is to build sustainable communities. So, come give us a chat and we'll see if you have a project in mind that you're thinking about doing. We can talk about, is that something we can either provide financial resources? Maybe we can provide planning resources to help you out with that project. And, we also have, a lot of us have customer portals, newsletters, events, things like that. If you have newsletters and things for your association that you need content, contact us and we can definitely provide you some free, paragraphs or so that you can absolutely borrow and share any water saving ideas from us. Again, thank you so much for joining us. This is all of our contact information. and we're all here. So come visit us. And I think that's the end of my presentation. So next is going to be, if there's one quick question, I can take it. Otherwise, again, come visit us at our tables. Yes.
Hi, so I'm from Monarch Summit 2 at the top of Pacific Island Drive. And I talked to a couple of people in your department, and we were told that they, first of all, we're far away from where the pipes are to get the recycled water, but also that you're already using all the recycled water you produce. And so you don't have any motivation to try and get anything up to us or the people in between us. So is that true? And is anything going to change for that?
That's a good question. You know, I'll be honest, I just save water. I don't do the recycled water system. So I'm not that smart, but I do know, I will be super honest with you that, you know, if money was unlimited, we would put recycled water anywhere and everywhere we can. It's really site specific if a site becomes cost effective to convert or not, because there's some costs that we have to absorb as the water district, and there's some costs that the customer or the developer ends up paying. And so that's something each of our engineering departments really kind of negotiate and figure out what costs are split, what you absorb and what we absorb. So I'll be honest, you know, a lot of times the conversions are like, hey, there's this huge park that's going to be so cost effective, and we'll absolutely do it. And if someone along the way comes around, yeah, let's hook them up, right? But if we have to run a pipe 1.5 miles to get to a median, we're not going to do it. It's just not cost effective. So
I had this big plan in my head. I was going to talk to all the people at the associations all
Yeah.
the way up, and we were going to share the cost. I was going to take care of all that.
Oh, okay.
But you don't have anything else to give us. That's the problem.
Yeah, I can't speak to the supply on whether, I do know in some areas recycled water is, I'll just say, tapped out per se. It is very area specific, and even within the retailer, depending on that line, it may not have enough capacity for the line. So, but I would say, let me get your contact information before I go, and I can follow up with you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and one more. Yeah.
You force the new construction of homes and places to have recycled water, or is it they do what they want to do?
Yeah, so our standard for construction is new construction does get plumbed in for recycled water. And if the recycled water is available, then they're immediately hooked up with recycled water. So
You already pipe it before while it's being constructed, so that maybe
yes.
in the future when it's needed, you still have it.
Correct. That's a standard for new irrigation systems. They're typically plumbed already with purple pipe, even if they are not recycled, so that if it becomes available, you literally plug it in. Yeah, so that's a new standard, and that's pretty typical, I would say, throughout most of the state, that new construction, all new construction has a dedicated irrigation meter to begin with, and that it is often typically purple pipe underground, ready to go. Not residential. Like for a single family home, no. That's not typical to use recycled water. Some water retailers do, but often they do not. And again, it really comes down to the cost effectiveness for 1,000 square foot landscape to do a second meter. But that's something we can definitely talk about offline, but it's not as typical for single family. But for the multifamily properties, yes. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. Let me turn it over to Tony from Ewing. Let me get him lined up. Where's Tony at? Come on up.